In the heart of Nevada's barren desert, where the sun scorches the earth and the winds whisper secrets through the sagebrush, lies a place shrouded in mystery and speculation. Area 51. For decades, it has been the subject of countless conspiracy theories, urban legends, and a source of fascination for enthusiasts of the paranormal and the unexplained. The very name evokes images of extraterrestrial life, advanced technology, and government cover-ups. But what if the veil of secrecy was finally lifted? What if the untold secrets of Area 51 were revealed to the world? It all began on a seemingly ordinary summer day in 23. The sun blazed down on the dusty roads of Rachel, Nevada, a small town that had become synonymous with the enigmatic military base. The townsfolk, accustomed to the occasional influx of UFO hunters and conspiracy theorists, went about their daily routines, unaware that their lives were about to change forever. A series of unexpected events would soon unfold, leading to the unearthing of truths that had been buried for decades. The catalyst for this revelation was a retired Air Force officer named Colonel James Hargrove. Having spent over 30 years in service, Hargrove had witnessed things that would make most people's skin crawl. He had flown missions over Area 51, had seen the aircraft that defied the laws of physics, and had heard whispers of experiments that pushed the boundaries of human understanding. But as he settled into retirement, the weight of his secrets grew heavier, gnawing at his conscience. The world had changed, technology had advanced, and the truth could no longer remain hidden. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, Hargrove made a decision: he would speak out. He would share what he knew, not just for himself, but for the countless individuals who had dedicated their lives to uncovering the truth. Gathering his thoughts, he penned a letter to a journalist named Sarah Mitchell, known for her investigative prowess and relentless pursuit of the truth. Hargrove detailed his experiences, the bizarre crafts he had seen, the experiments conducted, and the chilling encounters with beings that were not of this world. When Sarah received the letter, she was skeptical at first. She had heard countless tales of government cover-ups and alien encounters, but something about Hargrove's words resonated with her. Intrigued, she reached out to him, and they arranged to meet in a secluded diner just outside of Rachel. As they sat in a booth, the fluorescent lights flickering overhead, Hargrove revealed stories that seemed too fantastical to believe. He spoke of the Aurora, a top-secret aircraft that could travel at hypersonic speeds, and of the time he had witnessed a craft hovering silently in the night sky, illuminated by a soft blue glow. But it was the tales of the beings that truly captivated Sarah. Hargrove described encounters with entities that had skin like liquid silver, and eyes that glowed with an otherworldly light. He spoke of experiments conducted on captured beings and the technology they had brought with them, technology that could revolutionize life on Earth, if only it were shared. As he spoke, Sarah felt a chill run down her spine. This was no ordinary story. It was a revelation that could change the course of history. With Hargrove's testimony as her foundation, Sarah began her investigation in earnest. She dug through archives, interviewed former employees of the base, and sought out other whistleblowers who had worked in the shadows of Area 51. Each piece of information she uncovered painted a more vivid picture of the clandestine operations that had taken place within the base's fortified walls. It wasn't just about aliens. It was about the human quest for knowledge, the desire to push boundaries, and the moral dilemmas that arose when humanity flirted with the unknown. As Sarah delved deeper, she discovered a network of individuals who had been silenced over the years. They were scientists, engineers, and military personnel who had been part of projects that blurred the lines between science fiction and reality. Among them was Dr. Elaine Carter, a brilliant physicist who had worked on reverse engineering alien technology. Dr. Carter had witnessed firsthand the potential of harnessing energy from otherworldly sources, but she had also seen the darker side of ambition, the lengths to which the government would go to keep such knowledge under wraps. With each interview, Sarah's resolve strengthened. She had stumbled upon something monumental, something that could not be ignored. But as she pieced together the narrative, she also realized the dangers that lay ahead. Powerful forces would not take kindly to the truth being exposed, and she had already begun to feel their presence lurking in the shadows. The turning point came when Sarah received an anonymous tip about a classified document hidden within the National Archives. The document allegedly contained information about an intergalactic treaty signed decades ago, detailing agreements made between the U.S. government and extraterrestrial beings. The implications were staggering. If true, it would mean that humanity had been in contact with other civilizations for longer than anyone had imagined. With Hargrove's guidance, Sarah navigated the bureaucratic maze of the archives, employing every ounce of her investigative skills to gain access to the document. After days of persistence, she finally secured a meeting with an archivist who reluctantly agreed to help her. As they scoured through the dusty files, Sarah's heart raced with anticipation. The air was thick with the weight of history, and she could almost feel the secrets pressing down on her. When the SAR finally uncovered the document, it was a fragile piece of paper, yellowed with age, and filled with cryptic language. The archivist's eyes widened as he read the words aloud. The treaty outlined a partnership, a sharing of knowledge and technology, with stipulations that included non-interference in human affairs. But it also contained a chilling clause. Should humanity ever threaten the balance of the universe, the extraterrestrial beings reserve the right to intervene. Armed with this explosive information, Sarah faced a dilemma. She could publish her findings and risk the wrath of those who would do anything to keep the truth hidden, or she could remain silent and allow history to repeat itself. With Hargrove's encouragement, she chose the former. The world needed to know. The day Sarah published her article, the internet exploded. Social media platforms buzzed with discussions, debates, and disbelief. News outlets scrambled to cover the story, and for the first time, the public was confronted with the reality of what had been hidden for so long. People began to question everything they thought they knew about their world. The government's silence only fueled the fire, and conspiracy theories flourished. But with the revelation came consequences. Sarah received threats, and Hargrove found himself under scrutiny. Mysterious vehicles began to appear outside their homes, and they could feel the eyes of the government watching their every move. Yet, they pressed on, driven by the belief that the truth was worth fighting for. As the world grappled with the implications of Sarah's article, a group of scientists and activists emerged, calling themselves the Truth Seekers. They sought to uncover more about the hidden technology and the beings that had visited Earth. They organized rallies, demanding transparency from the government and advocating for the responsible use of advanced technologies. The movement gained momentum, drawing in people from all walks of life, scientists, engineers, and ordinary citizens who had long suspected that they were not alone in the universe. In the midst of this upheaval, Sarah received an unexpected message from Dr. Elaine Carter. She had been working on a project that aimed to communicate with the beings mentioned in the treaty. With the world's attention now focused on the existence of extraterrestrial life, Dr. Carter believed that this was the perfect time to attempt contact. Sarah, intrigued and eager to be part of this historic moment, agreed to help. They convened a team of experts, including linguists, astrophysicists, and engineers, to devise a plan. Using the technology that had been developed at Area 51, they constructed a device capable of sending signals into deep space, hoping to establish a two-way communication channel. As they prepared for the launch, anticipation filled the air. This was not just a scientific endeavor, it was a leap into the unknown, a chance to connect with beings who had once been relegated to the realm of fiction. On the day of the launch, the team gathered in a remote location, far from prying eyes. They activated the device, sending a series of signals into the cosmos. Hours turned into days, and just as doubt began to creep in, a response came. A series of lights flickered on the device's screen, forming patterns that seemed to pulse with energy. The team erupted in cheers, a mix of disbelief and exhilaration. They had made contact. The ensuing weeks were a whirlwind of communication. The beings, who identified themselves as the Zilari, shared knowledge about their civilization, their technology, and their understanding of the universe. They spoke of harmony, balance, and the importance of coexistence. But they also warned of the dangers that lay ahead, of humanity's propensity for destruction, and the potential consequences of unchecked ambition. As the world absorbed this new reality, the implications were profound. Governments were forced to confront their past actions, and the public demanded accountability. The Zilari's message resonated with people everywhere, sparking a global movement toward peace and collaboration. Nations began to work together, sharing resources and knowledge in a way that had never been seen before. But the journey was not without its challenges. As the truth seekers pushed for transparency, they faced opposition from those who had thrived in secrecy. A faction within the government, fearing the loss of control, sought to undermine the movement. They spread disinformation, attempting to discredit Sarah and her team. Yet, the truth was a powerful force, and the public's demand for answers could not be silenced. The hearing concluded with a call for an independent investigation into Area 51 and the government's dealings with the Zilari. It was a victory for the truth seekers, but it was only the beginning. The world had been irrevocably changed, and the path ahead was uncertain. As Sarah and Hargrove stepped outside, they were met with a sea of supporters, their voices rising in unison, demanding a future built on transparency and understanding. In the months that followed, humanity began to embrace the lessons learned from the Zilari. Technology was shared openly, and collaboration became the norm. The fear that had once dominated the narrative was replaced by hope, as people sought to build a better world. The revelations of Area 51 had sparked a revolution, one that transcended borders and united humanity in a shared mission. In the end, the untold secrets of Area 51 had not only changed the course of history, but had also awakened a collective consciousness. The truth, once hidden in the shadows, now illuminated the path forward. And as humanity stepped into the unknown, they did so with a newfound sense of unity and purpose, ready to embrace whatever lay beyond the stars.